Good day, my name is Dan Barrett, UND 625 local president. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about political activity and your rights and responsibilities in that regard. So basically the context as a public servant, your rights and responsibilities are the same as, the rights anyways are the same as most Canadians, except that there are certain limitations at the workplace and even outside the workplace if related to basically maintaining an impartiality. So the whole concept in the public service is that we are a nonpartisan organization, regardless of what government happens to be in power. We execute the taskings that are given to us. We administer the government policies and we implement them. Now, if there's problems with how those policies are actually impacting people, there are avenues that we use internally within the government to address those concerns. And so essentially, the bottom line is, when you look at the Code of Value and Ethics, there's a lot of focus on basically, if you're going to be talking if you're talking in public and the media happens to be there, are you actually undermining your own credibility or your visibility and how you execute your duties and responsibilities? So as long as you're not actually doing that, technically from the Public Service Commission's perspective, you're okay. But this is sort of a subjective kind of thing. There's a couple of recent cases where folks thought they were fine, but essentially they got in a little bit of trouble with the upper management, and essentially crossed the line and paid the consequence. So there's not a lot of whistleblower protection within the federal public service right now. So it's the kind of thing you need to be cognizant of and address appropriately. So majority of the stuff I'm actually going to be talking about here is really coming out of the Public Service Commission, because they're the folks who are actually responsible to get all this stuff done. So you can find a lot of this stuff actually even on your home. You can get it at work, but at home too, at www.psac.cfp.gc.ca. So kind of looks like this. Okay, and it gives you a lot of good information there about some of the stuff. It doesn't give you a lot of details, what can you do and what can't you do, but basically, you can put a lawn sign up, you can vote, it's the, you can actually go, but basically what they're really looking at is 3 areas. So the Public Service Commission is interested in essentially how well you are conducting yourself in public or whatever when it comes to getting your support for a political party. So if you're in support or opposition of a political party, regardless of whether it's in government or not, that kind of thing is political activity. Similarly, support or opposition to a candidate, that's political activity. And the third one is if you're yourself interested in pursuing a political position at the municipal, provincial, or federal level. So if the third one there, the provincial one, you actually have to get permission to actually run as a candidate, because essentially you're going to have to take leave, and the Public Service Commission has to make sure that you get that leave. So because essentially we're looking at trying to enhance the democracy of the system. So this is a full-time career sort of thing. If you're going to actually be pursuing a candidacy, people want to take it seriously, and if you're going to be doing it, you're going to have to take leave to do it. So that's for the candidacy part. As for supporting a candidate or supporting a political party, as long as it doesn't interfere or be seen to be interfering with your ability to impartially work or complete your duties, you should be okay. So that includes things like this. So a lot of that particular right actually comes out of the charter, and so implications here basically are that you actually have rights, and you can exercise them, and that those rights include the freedom of thought, of belief, opinion, and expression. So that's the one that we all share. So you can actually speak your mind in certain contexts. The speaking your mind in public, then it's seen as undermining government stuff. Not so much, but certainly in private, that kind of stuff shouldn't be a problem. The second one is also the freedom of association. So you're allowed to actually associate with political parties, and you're allowed to basically affiliate with whatever particular legal activity that is going on. There's also a third one. It's not charter related, but that relates to the union, and the union has the right to inform. So this is normally the part where people start to get a little bit in trouble. So if you are speaking in public and you are a union representative, you have to make sure that you say that. I'm Dan Barrett, the president of Unity 65. So I'm speaking in that context. So I have just a little additional protection for speaking political stuff. But primarily the primary thing, like the Public Service Alliance of Canada, is a nonpartisan organization. So this whole aspect of like our locals campaign right now is get the vote out. It's bulletproof. So what we're trying to do is not so much overthrow the government with sedition or something. It's what we're trying to do is make sure people make an informed decision, right, and engage in the political process. So to that end, there's been a couple of initiatives, and that the initiative basically from our local is really didn't just fall out of the sky. It actually started up back in May, and if you go to PSAC's Atlantic thing, or again just do the Google thing, you can see the PSAC Atlantic thing is basically saying, okay, we're going to be doing this every day, every 19th from now till the election. So the federal election is on the 19th of October. That's when it's slated to happen, if all else being equal. So government can at this point probably call an election earlier than that, because they've met one of their primary goals, which is a balanced budget. So they could, in theory, call an election any time. So, for example, if the public service goes on strike, they can drop the writ and everybody has to go back to work, because you can't have a strike during an election. So those sort of things are essentially, there's a higher visibility during an election period, and this is only like 30 days. Okay, so or however many days, 30 or 60, I'm honestly not sure, but it's only for a short period of time. So between when they drop the writ and they actually hold the election. So bottom line, when you're looking at political activity, the primary one the local always asks you to do is to talk to your MP. So where there's an issue that actually impacts us as employees, or you as a constituent of an MP, you have an obligation to let your MP know how you feel. And the easiest way to do that is to set up a meeting with your MP and go down and pay him a visit. So so right now, what on top of that, the other thing is basically get involved with your union on some of the different files that you might be interested in. There's a lot of files that have representation on related to constituency groups that are following particular pieces of legislation or are directly representing constituents of the Canadian public. So explore some of these things that may be of interest to you and become informed on what the actual issues are. This year we're also looking at a municipal election coming up in October, and so again, these folks that we're electing to municipal government, these are foundational structures in the public service. So we want to make sure that our brothers and sisters in the municipal QP locals or whatever, those guys are being well served by their representatives as well. So become informed and know what kind of activity that you're interested in, that your your representative at the provincial level, the mayor and the councillors, what they stand for, what if they're actually aligned with your interests. And the second part of that is to get out and actually vote. There's a lot of advance polls that take place in federal elections. Similarly, honestly, I'm not 100% sure on municipal elections, but there's, it's your obligation to kind of get out there and vote, and you really should. So just a little more background on this thing about the 19th. So, in around May of this year, that's when the Atlantic region started their thing. In June, the Public Service Alliance of Canada nationally requested people to do an activity on the 19th. So that was during National Public Service Week, which was boycotted by the Public Service Alliance of Canada. And but even so, there was still an activity that occurred within our local. If you folks recall, we had a little bit of a barbecue that went on, and we collected money for the local food bank, which was did fairly well. In July, we started off our Get the Vote Out campaign, and at the UNDE convention at the end of August there, they talked a little bit about this particular campaign, and essentially had enough support that I think after the election, I think it clarified a lot for us, and so we're going to continue with this particular initiative and make sure folks are made aware of their political rights and responsibilities. I hope this video has been informative for you, and if you require more information, please check out our website on the UNDE. We're under Ontario and UND 65, or just Google us at UND 65, and hopefully you'll get a good link. Thank you, and have a good day.